The US market is something that a lot of Irish businesses would love to get into. And in this video, what I wanted to cover is if you are an Irish business and you are exporting goods to the US, are you actually going to have to collect US sales tax? Let's cover all of the different bases just so you understand what is ahead of you if you plan on exporting to US customers. Well, firstly, from an Irish tax point of view, when you do export from Ireland to the US, which is outside of the European Union, then you don't actually have to charge any Irish VAT on your exports. You can put a 0% VAT rate on your invoices. So it is all very straightforward from an Irish VAT point of view. Some of the complications that you could run into if you did have to collect sales taxes in the US, there are different sales tax rules in each state, which can add a whole lot of complexity for yourself. You'll have to have a good system in place to know exactly how much sales tax you need to collect for all of the different customers that you're selling to in the various different states. And if you decide to completely ignore it, then there are penalties for failing to actually remit the taxes to the relevant states. Sales tax is actually quite different to what we are used to in the European Union, where we pay VAT on everything. So sales tax is only paid by the end consumer in the US. In Ireland or in the rest of the European Union, we have that included in every stage of production all along the way until you actually reach the final consumer as well. So in the US, sales tax is only really relevant and paid by the end consumer. And just for your FYI, sales tax is currently collected at state level in 45 of the 50 states and at a local level for some towns and municipalities. Currently only 5 states don't collect sales tax at the state level, and they are Alaska, Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire and Oregon. So when do you as an Irish business have to register and collect US sales taxes? Well, that depends on whether you have either a physical or economic nexus in any US state. So a physical nexus, that would be along the lines of having a warehouse or an office or having some employees in the state or storing your inventory in the state before it's shipped on to the final customer. You could also have an economic nexus, and this is when you pass certain sales thresholds, and they can vary from state to state. For example, in Illinois, it's €100,000 in terms of value of sales, or else 200 transactions over a 12-month period, and you will be considered to have an economic nexus. If you want to check out all of the different thresholds when it comes to an economic nexus in all the different states, you can check it out on this website, and I'll leave a link below in the description section where you can find that as well if you're interested in learning more. And just while I'm making this video, I want to briefly tell you about a course that I recently launched that will help you basically try and reduce your accountancy fees when you're starting your business in Ireland. It will teach you how to register your company, do your own VAT returns, corporation tax returns, bookkeeping, budgeting, preparing financial statements, payroll. We'll look at pensions, investing, holding companies, the whole lot, and get you to level up and be ready to be a director of your own company. And most importantly, save on fees. You can find out more about this course on Courses.irishfinancial.ie, for which I will also leave a link below in the description section. So what is the situation then if you are registered for US sales tax and you have to collect it, and you are storing your inventory in the US, let's say in Texas for example, and you are selling some inventory from Texas to New York? What is the situation there when it comes to sales tax? What state do you actually need to collect the sales tax for and hand over to? Well, the usual rule that they go with are destination sourced sales. So these are taxed according to where the buyer takes possession of the item sold. For example, property shipped from outside of Texas into Texas may be taxed at the rate where the recipient of the goods is located. So that kind of simplifies things a lot. A good chunk of you probably watching this video are gone down the whole e-commerce line and you're selling some goods to the US, but you're using a platform or a marketplace such as eBay, Amazon or Etsy. Well, you don't really have to worry about anything when you are using these platforms, because these companies are now obliged to actually collect and remit sales tax on your behalf and hand it over to the relevant state tax authorities. So that takes the whole stress completely off you. They'll add on the sales tax on top of your price of whatever you're selling on that marketplace and make sure that the customer pays it, and that money is then handed over to the relevant state authority. So that's nothing really to worry about when you are selling on the likes of Amazon, eBay, or Etsy. For the people, however, that are actually managing their own stock and inventory and actually shipping out goods from Ireland to the US themselves and using, say, some sort of distribution system or couriers, etc., what you should probably think about using is the likes of Shopify. They have a good system for tracking where your customers are based and collecting the appropriate sales tax in all of the different states that are relevant that you're selling to. So it is worth checking out their software, and you can obviously build your whole business on their platform in terms of your website and your e-commerce website, all through Shopify. So it is worth checking them out because they are really set up to try and streamline this whole thing for you. So I would highly recommend checking them out. So that is pretty much it for this short enough topic. I had a couple of questions about this over the years, and I thought it was time that I actually made some sort of video about it. If you have any more questions or queries on this specific topic, please let me know down in the comment section, and I can create further content around this.